know. I asked him, like, has he, you know, dated since? He said he's tried to, but women are still treating him like the nice guy. And I asked him,
what is his definition of the nice guy?
Do
you think he's the nice guy?
I think he's a pleasant person.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what this nice guy thing. I don't really know what that means, entails. It's so, I mean, nice could be a lot of things. Does he open the door? That's nice. Like, I don't, nice guy could be a lot.
Hey guys, welcome to Little Black But 91, a real quick one. You're going to hear it in a second or two where KB is going to talk about the fact that she feels obviously that, Edmund actually confessed to her that he's intimidated by black women, right? He hasn't dated them. And we obviously know that because the last interview she did on Hardly Initiated, she spoke about how for her, he spoke about he hadn't dated black women before. It's the first time. And I want to have a real conversation about this because I think this is really important aspect when it comes to dating and relationships. So let's just play a little bit of clip and then we'll get
I just think that he is a pleasant person and I think he's very sweet. I don't think he's mean at all. I think he has his moments and I think we both just showed we were fed up individuals. So yeah, but I asked him would he ever date an African American girl again, and he said he would, but he doesn't think he can pull women that look like him. And I'm like, I just really want you to go to therapy and figure out where that comes from, because you look great with whatever race you want to date, but don't count.
Okay, so this is a real situation, right? Sometimes people can, and I've always said this as well, like your exposure to certain things are really important. So for Edmund, he may have some deeper trauma behind it in terms of bullying, being overlooked, not being seen as an equal. We know that because our audience, we just watched Love is Blind and we all just did it, including myself. We were all wondering why he was with KB. Now, that's because she's a very good-looking woman and she can pull a bag of man. So we are wondering. But we do start questioning that. We do start asking questions like that, right? And especially within our community, we can do that to each other. So I can understand why he has that little insecurity there as well. But I think it's also more important because the whole entire show, when he was screaming KB, 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 he knew she was black. It's why I think that both of them are manipulative and that both of them were pushed by the show. They both were being pushed by us because this bro knew she was a black woman. Okay. And KB knew that this brother, the way he talking, sensibilities lacking. I'm going to say that he got some neurodivergence. Okay. Because you can hear it in the way that he speaks. It's all, there's often word salad. There is incoherent sentences. There is a beat around the mulberry bush. There is nothing direct and straightforward about him. And none of that energy that we're seeing that would be a protective kind of energy. She wanted a man that would be able to fight man in club. What part of Edmund would actually show you that he can fight man in club? No. When you are listening to him talk, what part? Talk to me. What part of what Edmund would have said in the pods promoted that he's about to put hands on a brother in the club? Which tells me, if I need to know, these two were playing games. They probably were put up to it by producers, both of them, because he don't date black women. He hasn't dated black women before. It's the first time he's going to start dating a black woman and he's going to be the baddie of the group. Get the frick out of it. I am not stupid. I was not born yesterday. You know what I'm saying to you? This was a push by producers. That were inching them closer and closer together. I also think, in another sense of the word, there are obviously some real aspects behind it where I think KB still wants to play Bobina the Builder, and Edmund shooting outside of his ballpark also has some insecurities he has to work on. But let's listen a bit more to the conversation because I think there's some aspects we need to break down.
Not your own race because you're scared. He said he's intimidated by African American women and said that I intimidated him a lot on the show, which was why it was hard for him to talk. I just think it's just trauma again that's unresolved or triggering from maybe, I don't know. It's something I can't dive too deep into because I don't know what it is. And he couldn't give me an answer last night either. So we were just talking in circles about it.
Girl.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't.
Your word is grace. Yeah. Like you just grace. Just giving.
I actually can understand why he might have felt intimidated. I think, and this is something that I've also experienced myself when I was younger. When I was younger, I also felt the same way. When you grow up in a certain area and you're not acclimatized to that way of doing things, you can do. If you've encountered certain people. For instance, I always say this from a UK perspective. We have London, which is our main city, hub spot. Black is different in London than it is out anywhere else, I think, personally. From my experience, Black people are very different in London than they are in anywhere else. You see them in Birmingham, you see them in the north, we call it Midlands. While we have similarities, I always feel like being in London, it makes you aggressive. As a Black person, it makes you aggressive. And why wouldn't you be? It's a harsh living standards. You've got to make money. It's a grey concrete jungle. Everything is very tight, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's a melting pot of people. There's a lot of aggression, I feel like, in our inner city, right? So I can understand why Black people are conditioned in a different way, because the environment is very different. You know, so if obviously depending on what city you've grown up in and what your experiences are of quote unquote are Black people, right? You're gonna find out that certain people, when you around them, you don't get along with them. You stick out like a sore thumb. Something about you, and I can see that Edmund might have stuck out like a sore thumb, and so his experiences are rejection from Black people. Therefore, don't go towards Black people. And if you got rejected by Black people, but then accepted by white folk, dating wise, what it does is it confirms the bias. It confirms that actually Black people don't like me, white people do. It only takes one white person to undo all of Black people's hurt. What I mean by that is, when you are younger, you're looking for the path of least resistance. Okay, so let's say you've been looking for Black women your entire life, and again, I know that women might have a different experience, and I totally hear it. But what I'm saying to you is, if you've been dating, and then obviously you got rejected by Black women, or maybe you were insulted or hurt or whatever, and then you find a really good experience from a white person, what you've been conditioned through that confirmational bias is, I think I like white women. I think white women respond better to me, right? And so therefore you go for the path of least resistance from then onwards. I get it, you know, but it is something that he needs to work on as well, because you have to grow. The reality is you have to grow in a level of assertiveness. You've got to be able to assert yourself. You've got to be able to have boundaries as well. I totally understand where he's coming from, but he has to also work on those particular aspects within himself as well. All right. Oh, sorry.
Grace.
Yeah, I was trying.
Yeah. When you and I last spoke, we had a pretty impactful conversation about your journey as a Black woman through this experiment. Unfortunately, they had to cut it out due to spoilers, but I do want to share with you guys at home now, so let's roll the clip. So we're not a stranger to being the only Black women on our show, besides the lounges and the women that were cast. So tell me a little bit about your experience as having to kind of go through all this as the only Black woman on your season.
I think it was actually pretty challenging in a sense. And I say that mainly because of maybe the person I was dating. He had never dated a Black woman before. And so to have been the first Black woman he
I'm trying
dated,
not to make a shocked face.
Really? Yeah, okay, that's news. I want to guess that one. And so he had never dated a Black woman before. So I have actually never been someone's first Black woman they dated. And so I never knew. And I know the experiences are different for everybody, but that experience for me, I think was, it had its moments, right? And it was like more so like, and not only had he not dated Black women, it was more, his foster parents, I don't want to misspeak, but I think at a point in time he wasn't raised by African-American people. Okay. And so I think that kind of like shifted the way he viewed African-Americans. And so unfortunately, a lot of times I feel like being African-American and a Black woman, sometimes you're in the world and you might put this mask on, right? You might code switch is what we like to call it. And I might talk this way, I might do this way, I might move this way. When I come home, I like to unmask. I like to take the mask off and I like to be like, hey, it's me and you, babe. I could never unmask. Ooh, I could never unmask.
Oh, that's exhausting.
It was exhausting because I never had a moment to just be like, whew, mask off. Let me just talk how I talk. Let me just be how I be. Let me just, it's me and you.
Did you try? Or were you just like, you knew you couldn't?
I tried. I 100% tried. But the problem with that was when I did try, I would end up having to defend African-Americans to a Black man. Oh. And it's just like, how do you not, like, how are you so out of it? But environmental. He, and also his situation made him look at Black men and Black women differently, especially Black women. And I would trigger him a lot just as a Black woman. Like I might talk a little passionately when I get upset, but you're very hard to communicate with sometimes. And it would make him.
I think there's a bit of both in that situation. I ain't gonna lie to you. That ain't just because he's triggered. The way you do speak, yeah, you'd have me cussing you out too. I ain't gonna lie to you. Yeah, you'd have me cussing you out. And I think you'd have a lot of men cussing you out. The way that you spoke at certain points would trigger anybody, Black, white, brown, blue, because some of the ways that you spoke was kind of rude. Now, you might have been frustrated, so that's why we didn't get to see the rest. And of course, there were things that were happening off camera, so I totally hear it. But yeah, again, we go back to what we said about his experience, and we said this before about his experience being that his biologicals obviously kind of rejected him. He's been raised up by white folk. They've been caring and loving of him. And so it's actually understandable why he would then end up potentially being more acclimatized to dating white women. Now, so long as he wasn't saying anything disparaging about us people, yeah, I'm a rock with you. But if you're just saying some stuff that was disparaging, I'm going to look at you some way. Because if your reason as to why you date another race is because you're disparaging of the race that you're in, yeah, I'm going to look at you some type of way. Okay? All right? Like there's just no, I can't defend those things. But she hasn't said that yet. but she did feel like she had to defend, like she had to defend herself and African American people in terms of the way that she spoke passionately. And I hear it, but some of the way she spoke wasn't passionate. Some of the ways that she spoke was kind of rude. I'll be honest with you. Some of the ways that she spoke was kind of rude. Let's just be honest. So I get how there could have been a triggering on either side, you know?
Shut down. He would just do this thing and just stare at me. I kid you not, he would just eat. Yeah, I would be like, okay, like, are you in the room with me right now?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, but I would say, like, I had a great experience outside of my, I had a great experience with my couple as well, but I had a great experience with the production. I had a great experience with my girls. It's just a lot of pressure on you to make sure you don't look like that angry Black woman. And when you are wanting to snap, it's like, do I snap the way I want to snap, or do I have to tone it down to make sure America doesn't get
I
mad
feel
at
like
me?
you did a lot of toning down. But it wasn't like, I don't think that you like, I don't know, like ran from situations. Like you definitely adjusted situations, but I could read, like I could read the room, and I'm just like, she is holding her tongue. And what, I'm proud of you. You did your thing. You did your thing. Because it is really hard. Like there's the line is so thin between like trying to defend yourself and stand up for yourself, but also being an angry Black woman. And when somebody's taking you out of your character,
like for sure, and especially when someone.
Now we need to stop this nonsense about when someone takes you out your character and make that as an excuse as to why we end up doing what we do. Can we be honest with you? Because if a man was to call her the B word, we were not saying, well, she took him out the character. That's why he called her a B word. We would not have an excuse for that. And I think that that's why I said about the KB AD interview. It's very similar to the AD kind of whitewashing, the kind of like PR spinning that happens, right? It's like, nah, the way she talks is actually kind of rude. It's that simple. Because in the end, the truthfulness of how she felt about him came out. She called him a B word. Now we've gone through how many couples that people don't call other people a B word, no matter how rude they were, no matter how much they cheated, they didn't have to call someone a B word. The fact that you went to the B word, we know you hated that man, and it's okay. Like this whole spin and PR, we don't, and I get it. I generally get it. You don't want to look at the angry Black woman. I just don't think this is the one to. I don't think this is the one to hang your hat on. I don't think that KB is the one to hang your hat on. You know what I mean? I don't even think she was the angry Black woman. I just think to the person that she's just rude at certain points. She was fed up of him. You know what I mean? And it's understandable. I don't see her as an angry Black woman, because that would have to be a consistent, like, you know what I mean? I don't see her as KB as an angry Black woman. But what I would say is that she was rude. I mean, if you call someone a B word at the end and we go and whitewash that and go, well, you know, let's just be honest with you. You know, if you were triggered to say that, you were triggered to say those things. Triggered. We can't accept that from a man saying the B word, because it's not acceptable. There's no trigger. You need to watch your mouth, and when you don't watch it because you're loose with it, because you're actually, this is probably normal for you. You know what I mean? This is normal for you. This is what you do, and it's okay. You know what I'm saying to you? Like I don't even see her as an angry Black woman. I never saw her as that. I just saw her as somebody who her mouth is the sharpest tool that she has, and she knows how to use it. That's all. You know what I mean? That's all.
I even voiced it to him. I'm like, hey, I feel like you're making me come off as an angry Black woman. Like, please stop doing it. And it would be like, on camera, he would do it. He would be like, okay, I'm cool, I'm nice. I'm like, bro, you just went off on me off camera. It's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I can't fake the funk. I'm just not a person to fake it. And so I definitely
see, and I think this is where she's gonna get caught out. And this is why we need to. That's why I said the same thing. I have to hold Edmund accountable. He's manipulative. He is. Edmund is definitely manipulative. I'm not even gonna dispute that. He is manipulative. He knows exactly what he's doing at points in times. He knows exactly what he's doing. But we have to also be honest and be true that both of them are manipulative. I feel like she dragged him to the altar when she knew she didn't have to, and he too cries and mumbles and plays, I'm a nice guy, and nice guys are manipulative. That's the whole point why they're nice guys. So we have two manipulative people in this relationship, okay, in this situation, who probably both had the same agenda, stay on the show as long as needed to be, get the results, but at the same time, you know, you catch a bit of feelings within that space. But let's stop this narrative of someone's triggering you as to why you said what you said. You know what I mean? Like, let's stop this and start owning it, and start. If we own it, then we can move past it. Do you know what I'm saying to you? You know what I mean? Like now we're saying you're making me into that angry Black woman. How? If you were pissed off camera and you come on camera and he acts normal, you're asked to act normal too. The reality is you said you can't fake the funk, so it's you issue. It's not anybody else issue. It's a you issue. You can't switch. When you're angry, you can't switch. That's your issue. And so when we start pretending and not actually being accountable for our actions, it comes off like this. She'll do the exact same thing with someone else. She'll just get away with it because actually that person may be able to handle that better, right? But in this instance, it's like You've got to be able to say to yourself, okay, look, I did that. That's on me. I get angry and I can't switch. So now I'm being angry. So that makes me feel like you are blaming him for things that didn't need to be blamed for. You can't blame him for making you the angry woman. If you had an argument off camera and you get on camera and you can't switch, you've got to hold yourself accountable as no one else, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's on you. If you can't be fake, that's on you. That's on nobody else.
Between like trying to defend yourself and stand up for yourself, but also being an angry Black woman. And when somebody's taking you out of your character,
like for sure, and especially when someone, I even voiced it to him. I'm like, hey, I feel like you're making me come off as an angry Black woman. Like, please stop doing it. And it would be like, on camera, he would do it. And he would be like, okay, I'm cool, I'm nice. I'm like, bro, you just went off on me off camera. It's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I can't fake the funk. I'm just not a person to fake it. And so I definitely toned down a lot. And I had to, like, my best friends, like, I would have to literally go for a walk sometimes just to get on the phone and away from the cameras so I could let it out and come back to the new person. And it was just hard. Like, oh, it was tough.
You were very cautious about not showing up in a certain way. Do you feel like you portrayed yourself the way you wanted to be portrayed? And do you feel like there's something that other women, Black women in particular, could take from you from the way you portrayed yourself?
I think I portrayed myself in the way that I would like to be portrayed, for sure, because it just showed who I was. I am a patient person. I am a graceful person. I do think that I typically extend more grace I'm ever given.
Now let's pause it right here. You're not patient. I want to make it very, very clear. People. So let me make it very clear, so that you all can understand this, right? Both men and women do this really thing where we think we are impatient. You see, actually, it's funny. KB and him are like two mirrors. Okay, KB and Edmund are like two mirrors. Let me tell you why. Okay, because she goes on like she's a patient person. She's not patient. She's not. She's got bad boundaries. Do you know what I mean? Okay, she's got bad boundaries. And Edmund too, right? It's not the nice guy. He's got bad boundaries, and in essence becomes manipulative because of the nice guy trope. Right? So we've got two people actually who are mirrors of each other, one another, right? And so people who believe they're patient, if you're one of those people, you know, if I've coached you in the last 2 years, you know I keep telling you this, you're not patient. You keep telling yourself you're patient, but in reality, the first time somebody offended you, you should have addressed it then, but you kept on letting it go. You're not patient. Right? You're not patient. In that space, what you are is somebody who doesn't know how to address important issues and doesn't know how not to be the villain. You're afraid of being the bad guy, so you don't address an issue. Because if that is the case, why are we not addressing it on the actual off camera? If the issue between you and Edmund and he's going off on you at that very beginning, okay, at the very beginning, go and address it off camera. So that when you get back on camera, you've said what you need to say. You've cussed him out off camera. We don't get to see. But you came on camera and you cussing him out because you're annoyed at the fact that he can code switch and you can't code switch. You needed to code switch. That was all. That was all. You had a beef off camera. It's off camera. Cuss him out off camera. We don't see. And when you get on camera, you go back to normal. But the issue is you. You have an issue because you're not actually saying how you actually feel. So you got two people being phony. Yes, they're both phony. Yes, because if he's able to cuss you out off camera, but come on camera like he's a sweet, innocent individual, but you go off camera, you can't cuss him off. But when you get on camera, you can cuss him off. You're the same person. You're not deep in it. You're the same person. You're just reverted. You are the same person. You're both not being honest. You're both not being assertive. You're both not actually saying how you actually feel. And you're both harboring feelings and then become passive aggressive, sometimes aggressive to one another. Do you know what I'm saying to you?
I think that me always walking in chin up, chest high. Chin up, chest out. Yeah. I think me always walking in like that beside my man and trying to hide or cover what we might have just went through. I think that's typically what we do as Black women, kind of thing, like mask everything or like just trying to hold the house together because it's not everybody's business what goes on.
How do you feel like you're being perceived?
Actually, I have mixed opinions on how I feel like I'm being perceived. I think there's one group of people that's actually seeing that I was a genuine person. Some people are perceiving me as a pick-me when it's just like you don't think that I can look the way that they feel I look, but also be as genuine as I am. And people are saying like Edmund's never your type. Okay, that's fine. The point of the show is going on there and dating somebody that's not your type because your type doesn't work. And so I think people are forgetting a plot of the show.
Yes, that doesn't. My last point is it's not even about type. He was never in the picture. He was never. It's not even about type. Type would be what everyone else had. He was never in the picture. he should have never been in the picture. He's not coherent. Okay, all right. He's not coherent in the way that his thoughts, the way he articulates his thoughts. I heard him on Hardly Initiated, and I was like, he's not even coherent. Like, if you listen to him, he's got word salad. And I'm like, what are you listening to? And when I started realizing that, I said, oh, baby girl, what are you listening to? You had a whole time in the pods. Like, if I start hearing somebody and they start doing word salad, oh, I can try to understand them. I'm not dating them, though. Because I'm an intellectual. And I thought KB, the way she talks, she has some level of intellect. Baby girl, what are you hearing? What are you hearing? You know what I mean? So yeah, that's something that she has to look at. But I'll have to do it a little bit more deeper, a video a little bit later on. I'll do a bigger breakdown. I just got to go. But yeah, I did think it was. I'm listening, and I'm like, there's more to this thing. Both of you need to be more accountable for the choice you're making in the way that you dealt with it. But I think both of you are a mirror to one another, which is probably why you're not angry at each other. I can see that you're actually quite calm with each other, which is what I like. But yeah, producers were pushing Edmund on all the black women. I have to go and watch that interview then, because it's clear that Edmund is no. And the funny thing is, it's not even like, and no offense to Edmund, he's not a good option. I'm sorry, a good option. This is not even a good option. Like Edmund is not even a no. I want to be very clear what I'm saying is, as when we're talking about options of how men can be pushed onto the women, Edmund wouldn't even be close. The people was, and that's how I know that KB was not being honest with us, because KB said it in the pods. The women were like something like, were almost kind of hinting that something was off with with Edmund, yet she was willing to pursue it. You're not being all the way honest with me, B. But I'm not mad at it. Both of you are playing a game. Both of you probably got pushed by the producers. Producers want to get a story. You both got the story, bro. You know what I mean? You're doing what you got to do, man. You know what I mean? You know? You do what you could do. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because I don't know why man was calling your name, but didn't know you, blood. Come off it, blood. Come off it. You know? I'm like, nah. Something's off. Something's off. You know what I mean? It's better that I don't get to interview any of them, because I'm gonna start asking some real questions that are gonna get me sent to the gulag. So, and I gotta go. Appreciate you guys. We'll be back a little bit later on. Much love, appreciation. We'll see you again soon.